Welcome to BRUNO'S MMA show. I am here today with my guest, Rico, who recently won the lightweight belt at Street Beast. Hello, Rico. How are you?
Good, good. How you doing today, Bruno?
Well, I was doing good, but then I saw you have like a Marvel hoodie, and I love Marvel, but Batman's my main man, so I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm always a big fan of Marvel and DC. I mean, I love watching the Avengers Endgame and then the previous one before that. So I'm just like always super stoked, and I hope to see many more like Marvel or DC movies coming out.
Yeah. So, by the way, before we get started with that, since we're talking about that now, I guess Robert Pattinson is Batman. What do you think?
You know what? I was always on the idea that Christian Bale, in my opinion, was always going to be the best Batman. So to see the next two previous guys play Batman, I'm in a little bit of a way contemplated about it, but I'm curious to see more of like a role he's going to take on as Batman. So I think it might be better, but who to say it couldn't be worse?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's get started regarding you and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, all of that good stuff. First of all, because there's a whole story of how you ended up going to Street Beast because you do a lot of. I saw from your Instagram. You do a ton of grappling competitions every year, MMA fights. At least 2019 seemed to be a really busy year for you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I do compete a lot in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, whether they're like local, nationally, or like world tournaments, and then MMA fights. I do have a few amateur MMA fights under my belt as well. I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Maxim Gym when I was 16 years old. It was like my literally like my freshman year going into my sophomore year in high school, and so my friend was like, because I'm still wrestling at the time in high school and things like that. So my friends like, yo, you gotta check this out, the jiu-jitsu stuff, and I'm just like, I'm like everybody else. I'm like, what the fuck is jiu-jitsu? You know what I mean? So I go to the gym with them. First class, I'm getting beat up by everybody, but I'm doing decent because I still had that restless mentality to, just to like grind. And I just fell in love with it. And literally, like maybe 2 months after I joined the gym at Maxim Gym, I was competing in my first tournament, and I remember it was so crazy. It was me and like two other teenagers. So we had like a little team and then a couple adults, and then we all ended up taking like double gold to get day and gi and gi. And after then, it's been like nearly like 7 years later doing jiu-jitsu. I was just like super stoked and like I fell in love with the sport after that.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, man. And I mean, really, you seem really motivated to get as much experience as you can. That's what I noticed. And well, okay, let's get into it. Can you show us the belt because it is an
Yes,
awesome
sir.
looking belt. That is
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
I love this thing, man. It's freaking huge. It's like having like a UFC belt. I just like want to take it everywhere I want to go. So it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, you walk around with it.
Yeah, I'm just like,
But
all right, the champs in the
yeah.
building. It's awesome.
Gonna buy some stuff at the grocery. Hey, how you doing? Just came to buy my milk. Hello.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, okay. Here's the thing, because this is interesting to me. You do a lot of competitions, obviously, jiu-jitsu. You're probably used to traveling through a lot of states because you live in the U.S. And I heard in a video where you won the belt that you traveled 10 hours to get that belt. Is that right?
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, it was 10 hours from Virginia, from Indiana to Virginia, then another 10 back from Virginia to Indiana, so total like a 20-hour trip. Yeah.
And okay, so there's motivation there. That's what I want to talk about because you do a lot of other competitions. I see you win gold in that you go to, and I want to ask you that because to drive 10 hours to go to Street Beefs, I mean, I guess you had to be like a fan of that channel of what they do, right?
Yeah, I've been watching Street Beefs. I think I started watching it like I think same time in high school. I started watching it like early 2014, 2015. And I see these guys in the backyard going at it in the cage. I'm just like, whoa, this shit's crazy. I'm like, one day I kept telling myself one day for years I'm gonna be on that show, and then eventually it came true. And I'm just like, oh snap, I'm actually here to actually go there to Harrisonburg, Virginia, and see it, and then actually see the gravel, then meet Scarface was super surreal, and then actually fight there, and then win a belt in my second fight. I'm just like, man, it was like mind boggling. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening right now.
And yeah, and I heard that you have to defend it every 3 months. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's what he was telling me. He said, now that I am the champion, he said, I have 90 days to defend it, or at my discretion, I could defend it a little bit earlier than that. But me personally, because I just love the competition, I love the drive to want to get out there, I want to defend it, as soon as I can. So, as soon as the next fight or the next challenger contender's up, I'm ready to go.
Okay, cool. So every 3 months, 10-hour drive going there, 10-hour drive coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? There's determination, and certainly at the beginning of the video, we do, like you said, you were there for the belt. There was no hesitation, and that's always, I think, like the mentality that one needs to have if they want something in life. Like, I came here for this, and it's just, you seem to have an amazing drive for these things that you want to do. And I mean, I'm just curious. I think at this point, just out of curiosity, are you looking to get into MMA professionally? Well, what are your goals regarding competition?
Yes, so competition wise, it is my goal to hopefully one day make it to the UFC or one of the major franchises for MMA fighting. I want to be a pro fighter and actually, live out my dreams and become like the best in the world one day and just keep on inspiring people that no matter where you come from or whatever circumstances you might be going through or where you grew up at, you could become a champion or whatever you want to do in life. So I just want to keep doing that and live out my dreams the best I can.
Yeah, that's really good. And I always how can I put this? Um, Personally, when I look at MMA, there's many ways to look at it. And of course, when you see that people having fight in the yard, it looks a certain way at first glance. But what I like about Street Beast is when you look at it, it is really pure martial arts and its attitude. What I mean by that is, um, I think it attracts a very positive energy, right? Maybe you don't see it at first when you see that, but it's kind of like the whole idea of, hey, let's settle this in this context. Like, I mean, it started Street Beast, right? Now it's a bit more like a proving ground also for people who want to test themselves. But um, I think it's a really good mindset, like the one you have, like where it is certainly competition, it is certainly combat, but it comes from a very positive place actually, which might be surprising to a lot of people.
Yeah, and another thing about that, like a lot of people or people that don't really understand it, they look at it and be like, "Oh, they're just fighting in the backyard." They're like, "What are they doing?" It's like human cockfighting, this and that. But like, for young guys like me coming up, you know what I mean? It's actually helping you build up that experience. Helping you get mentally ready. You know what I'm saying? So, the next fight you come on, you're like, okay, I'm dealing with this guy, or this guy's coming at me like super aggressive, and I know what to do as far as like the counters, my movements. I'm really like focusing on different game plans for like different opponents. So it's helping me physically and mentally get ready.
Yeah. Yeah. In any case, it's always a funny thing because when I look at something like that, and it's a controlled environment, it's a really good place to do that. And in the meantime, like people going, oh, that's a weird thing to do, and then you go out for drinks or something, and like normal people get crazy when they drink, and you're like, okay, I see, yeah, like people doing martial arts and hitting each other, they're the crazy ones, sure, but I don't see that people who train doing that stuff go out, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's like absurd in that sense because you would think like, oh, like this guy's drinks is gonna be like super wild, but you're sitting there calm, just like, all right, like I hope this doesn't get like in my direction or in a way. So it's funny in that regards. Yeah, super man, it's crazy.
And yeah, but I think it's something like when people train, they have an understanding of violence and they have an appreciation for what it means. And if they have a good mindset, and they're positive, and like you, for example, when you say like your motivation is you have something to prove, but it's not, it doesn't sound like something superficial. It really sounds like something noble, if I may say so. It's kind of like, okay, no matter where you started, look, like just apply yourself, and maybe you choose something really difficult and really hard and violent, but at the same time, it's just have that mindset, and it'll give you something. So I really like where you're coming from, I have to say.
Yeah, because like always, that's always what my mom instilled into me. You know what I'm saying? Because like growing up, I wasn't the richest kid. I wasn't the poorest kid, but my mom, she did everything she could for us. Whether it was working multiple jobs to make sure me and my sister could play all the sports and get the right education we wanted, because we grew up in a rough area, and then eventually I moved to Hobart, Indiana, which has now been my hometown for like the last several years. I graduated from there, did most of my sports there, and pretty much grew up there, met all my friends there. So that was always instilled into me, no matter what circumstance we were going through it as that time as children, as we got older through the teenage years, through the adult years, we kept grinding, we kept going forward. And I think really that was such a motivating factor that drove me so much to be so hungry to do anything I want to do in life, because I knew no matter what I had going on, I was always going to push forward to try to be a champion.
That's really, really good. I like to hear that. And like I'm a big fan of MMA, but I'm a big fan of if that makes any sense, the martial arts aspect of MMA. Like the kind of like there's a discipline there. It's not just like I don't know. It's not just about hitting each other. It's about technique. It's about learning. And your nickname is Reckless Rico, but I find I think you apply technique very intelligently from what I've seen of you. So I don't know how reckless that is really, but it's a cool.
Yeah, that was a big thing. I was contemplating on like what like nickname to use, and I'm just like, I don't know. And then there's one guy on the Street Beast page. He was like, "So what's your fight name? What's your fight nickname gonna be?" I was like, "I'm not sure." I was like, "I'm thinking like Reckless Rico, Rico Reckless." He was like, "I like Reckless Rico." And I'm just like, "Okay, I'm gonna stick with that." And then like I get to Virginia and Scarface like, "What's your fight name, by the way, buddy?" I'm like, "Reckless Rico." He's like, "Okay." I was like, then he called it. I was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of cool."
Dude, it sounds really cool. It sounds really cool. But I'm just saying. I saw a lot of game plan and techniques from you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Not necessarily a reckless approach, really like a calm approach. Like my last fight, I had to get it like a little bit reckless because I knew the guy was like a really good kickboxer, and I seen his fights. I'm like, if he kicks me or he kicks me in the leg or kicks me in the body, it's gonna hurt. So I'm just like, but I seen it like if I came forward, he would probably panic, and he did. So we was able to capitalize on that and get the W and get the finish.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think there's something to be said where there's this middle ground between technique and just going for it, and it's kind of hard to decide when's the time for which one. But you do see people freeze up when they're so technical, and then someone starts doing something that's not necessarily uh, that doesn't make sense, or they just go for it, and the other person is kind of like, oh yeah, what's the counter to this or something, and it kind of freeze up a little bit. It can happen, yeah.
Yeah. It just
Um,
No, I'm sorry. I hate to cut you off, but I just feel like it's so much going into it, like you said, as far as like the technique and the skills, because you never know what's going to happen. You come in there with a game plan, and then, what I'm saying, it doesn't go as you want it to. I think Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a game plan till they get punched in the face. So, yeah.
Yeah, which Gracie was it who said like when a black belt, like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, when they get punched in the face, they become a brown belt. They get punched again, they become a purple belt. Which one was that?
I think I want to
I,
say,
right?
I don't want to say Hickson. I want to say Heron Gracie or something like that. It'll
Okay.
come.
Anyway, Gracie said it, right?
Yeah.
um, yeah, and so okay, I'm curious about this. Okay, as someone who, okay, let's say, as someone who loves to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions and also MMA, I'm just a little bit curious because I see you also train in the gi. You do know gi. When you do the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions, when you obviously you have to defend them because you'll meet them in BJJ competitions. But how much time do you spend in, let's say, sports only techniques, or do you just spend time defending them because it's not going to translate to MMA? How do you balance it out, basically?
And so as far as like training in jiu-jitsu and training for MMA, yeah, I always try to do like, and when I'm at Maxim Gym, I always try to do an equal balance of both. So I'm always, because most fighters, they usually just train specifically doing like MMA stuff for the fights and stuff like that. But me, I will still, I'll still train traditional jiu-jitsu. I'll still be in the gi rolling around with everybody. I'll still do my no gi wrestling. I'll still do, the kickboxing class and things like that. And then my strength and conditioning, I'll still keep up, doing that and stuff as well. So I always I always try to keep an equal balance of both. But towards like the end of the camp, I'll turn it up, and then focus, solely on like MMA.
Okay. Because that is something that I was wondering because obviously in when you go into D competitions you're gonna like come across like berimbolo stuff and like just grab your sleeves, go upside down, and you have to deal with that stuff. And obviously it's not something you practice when you do MMA. So basically you what you say is you continue practicing it all, and then when the time approaches you focus around the end.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's go back to that belt you have now because you're not the only one who wants it. And two names have popped up.
Mhm.
First of all, there's Turk. So
Yes.
anyone who doesn't know who we're talking about, just the two people I mentioned, just go on YouTube, Street Beefs, Turk, and then the other guy I'll mention after. So Turk was supposed to be in the same day that you fought for the belt was supposed to be a tournament, and there's a guy named Turk who was supposed to be there, right? Who
Yes.
you yeah. So I guess you've been watching tape on him, as they say.
Yes, I have. Turk, from what I've seen, he's very tall, and I'm very short. I'm only like 5'6", 5'7" on a good day. And Turk has to be at least like maybe 5'10", maybe 5'11". So his videos I watch, I know he's a really good striker. I mean, his hand, he hits heavy. Like we're probably about the same way. He's hitting guys and he's like dropping them like it's no tomorrow. So I'm like, he probably has to have the power to heavyweight, but his ground game is a little bit suspect because I watched his only loss. It's against one of the guys I'm going to be fighting, and it gives me a little bit of confidence there. So I can't wait to eventually get that fight with Turk.
Good. And now there's another name that popped up, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you're already smiling. Beach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's another guy. Like, man, like if you look back on like my two videos or like the video where I won the belt, everybody's just talking about Beach, and like everybody's like super hyped, between his fans and my fans about me and him fighting because Turk's style is pretty much similar to my style. He's very good at grappling. You know what I'm saying? He has pretty solid striking as well. So he's a very well-rounded fighter. And so when that fight comes, I know like everybody's gonna be tuning in. So that's the fight. Like that's the fight you don't want to miss right there. Me versus Beach.
Yeah. And there's something by the way that I think to watch the fights live because it was announced on the Street Beefs Insta, and then I and many other people weren't sure where to go. So apparently, I think you have to join the Facebook group that's Street Beefs Live. Is that it?
Correct. I think it's just like I think
Yeah.
it's just called Street Beats. If you type it in on Facebook, you'll see the group page and it has like hundreds and thousands of people in it. Then you join it because it's like a private group. So they let people in. So like when a fights are premiering, you could watch it there when they're going live with it, or you can just go on YouTube because they do like a little premiere and the little premiere video. Then you watch the fights live on YouTube as well.
Yeah, I wanted to mention the video because Scarface posted like the fight is about to go live, and I and many others who commented we didn't know where to watch it. So
Yeah.
so the Facebook group would be the place to go to. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to put it out there. Okay. Now another thing. I don't know if you heard about it. Street Beefs is, and now it might just be like talking about it for the sake of it, but Street Beefs announced recently they wanted to do like 2 versus 2 fights.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've seen that.
Did you hear anything about that behind the scenes regarding the rule set or whatever?
I heard they had the idea of doing the 2 versus 2 on MMA matches and stuff like that, but I wasn't sure on like the rules or the times and things like that. I didn't get like no details of that, but I just heard the rumors of it supposed to be going on.
Yeah. And would you conceivably grab someone from your gym, the two of you go there, and you do a 2 versus 2? Would you do that, or is that something that you're not concentrating on at the moment?
I mean, later on down the road, I wouldn't mind, doing it. I would definitely hit up one of my teammates and be like, "Hey, are you interested in doing, doing this?" and try to, get the idea to them. So it'd be something I wouldn't mind trying down the road. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because when I saw it, I was like, man, that's crazy. I need to know the rules before I can form a full opinion. Like how does that work? Is like
Yeah,
because
it's
we've
like
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
how it would be.
Because we have seen that like there's been many attempts at doing like this many versus this many, and the rules are always like a little bit different. So I was a bit curious if you had heard something behind the scenes, but yeah. Tell me, so now this year is a bit crazy for fighters, and it's kind of like a bit of a pause button for everyone. So I guess Street Beefs does give you a place that you can go to at the moment. But in 2020, I mean, let's say things go back to a conceivable normal within a few months. I don't know what that means anymore, but are there any goals that you set yourself upon for 2020 or even 2021?
Yeah, I mean the goal for the this year, despite everything that's been going on with the pandemic and things like that, I still want to win Nogi Worlds and Gi Worlds in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu at the IBJJF, and I still want to be an amateur MMA champion, and I still, now that I am the Street Beast lightweight champion, I want to defend the title as many times as I can and beat everybody that people think I can't beat, or that they think that can beat me. So I still want to achieve all these goals despite what's going on. So just because a little virus is going around and maybe causing some disturbance in the forest, I still want to set out and complete all my goals for this year.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing about Street Beast is I see so many comments talking trash, and then like it's kind of like, okay, how about you go there? And they're like, it's too far away from me, and you drove 20 hours total there. But
Yeah.
said you wanted it. It wasn't just about talking. So I think that what happens is the format of Street Beef seems so approachable that then people kind of underestimate what it is to, um, well, competition, just period competition, but they kind of underestimate it. And as someone who's done like other types of competition and all that, like how would you compare it?
Yeah, and that's the biggest, I believe, misconcept, because all these people be like, yeah, I'll go down there and do this and that, and then they actually get there and they're just like, oh, it's a lot different, because you can watch something from the outside looking in, because you think, okay, they fight in the streets, it got to be super easy, everybody's doing it, right? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So then you actually get there and you actually get to fight and stuff like that, and you're just like, oh, it's a lot different than what I'm watching, on YouTube. And compared to other competitions that I have done, I would say fighting that Street Beef is a little bit harder, because the guy you fighting, you really don't know nothing about, much like when you're actually fighting MMA or Jiu-Jitsu, and the approach compared to like amateur fighter, you can knee and elbow, which is something I had to adapt to really quickly. I'm like, oh my god, if this guy needs to elbow me in the face, you know what I mean? And you could actually slam him, down and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh crap, it's a little bit different. So in that approach, it's a little bit more freestyle on like the on the rule set, and it's a little bit more like I would say more pressure, because I say it's more pressure because you have millions of eyes watching on YouTube and Street Beef, compared to maybe when you fight in competitions only maybe a couple hundred people. So the pressure, the anxiety, it's more tense, fighting for Street Beefs.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I noticed the lack of elbows, so I had kind of guessed it was in the rule set no elbows for that. But you're saying there's no slamming either?
No, for Street Beefs, what I'm saying is you can elbow slam, and you can do elbows, knees, and slam. Compared to like when you fight as an amateur for MMA, you can't do those things.
Oh, sorry, I misheard. Okay. So wait, did I see elbows then? Okay, my brain is playing tricks on me.
Yeah, because like normally, like in an MMA match, for like amateur MMA rules, you can't knee to the head, but when you fight for Street Beefs, you can knee to the head. So in that aspect, the concept of
Okay.
knee is different. Yeah.
No, it's true. Okay, I'm remembering now. No, no, wait, I'm remembering. I think Beach threw saw him through an elbow. Was it Church? Ah, okay. So anyway, let's see. I'm really just basically. I forgot to ask you. You said you fought amateur MMA. Was that all for the same organization?
I fought for two different organizations. So my first four fights were for UCL, so United Combat League. They're based primarily out of Hammond, Indiana, and Marionette Park, Illinois. That's usually where they had the two venues out at the Hammond Civic Center, and then Bourbon Street. Then I also fought for HFC, which is Hoosier Fight Club, and they're based primarily out of Indiana as well.
Nice. And well, basically, let's see. First of all, like, thank you very much for your time. This has been really amazing. And it's really interesting to have your point of view regarding how Street Beast compares to the other places, and it's kind of interesting when you said, "Oh, it's more stressful because you know that a lot more people are going to watch it after a fact, you know, like or live or." And I was thinking kind of like of the crowd that are around. Like, that's how I was thinking, but you pointed it out. It's a lot more people are going to watch it on Street Beast.
Yeah, yeah, they have such a tremendous following. You know what I mean? They got like 1.6 million like subscribers on YouTube. So I'm just like, oh geez, I better win.
Yeah. Um, very well. Did you have the next fight scheduled, by the way?
As of right now, I don't have any fights or anything lined up, even with Street Beef. So I'm just kind of like waiting in the wings, or till like one of the guys from Street Beef hit me up, and whoever's ready next to fight me, then I'll be ready. So until then, um, to be announced.
Okay. Let's see. How can we find you online?
To find me online, you can follow me on Instagram at the Phenom _ Rico Tally, or just simply add me on Facebook at Rico Tally. And
Well,
if
any your gym?
yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everybody at Master Gym, my coach Armando Carrena, Chris Turk, Albie. Shout out to all my training partners, and then the guys that that rode with me, because I wouldn't be able to go the 2 times I went without my man Tyler Watson, Nico Duran, Javier Flores, Esteban de la Cruz. For all the people that love and support me from my hometown here in Hobart, I mean, I wouldn't be doing none of this stuff if it wasn't for all the people that kept encouraging me to keep going, even on the days I wanted to quit. My mom, my stepdad, my sister. I just want to give a shout out to all those people, because without none of them, I wouldn't be able to keep grinding forward and to keep having motivation to do what I love to do.
That's awesome. And again, I really like your approach. You know, when you thank people, it really sounds like they have a very positive influence in your life, and they really motivate you in a good way, and that's really good to hear. And because I think you'll need those people going forward. You know, if you continue with this, for sure. I think it will be important for you to have those people around you and have like a very positive influence around all the craziness that you'll be coming across in the years to come if you continue the way like you're winning, you're winning gold. So like keep them around you, man. If they help you, they motivate you. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that for you. And look, I'll be following your career with interest. Let's see what your next fight is. And hey, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me, Bruno.
Have a nice one, man.
You too. Thank you, brother.